Hello everyone, and welcome to week 3 update. So in week 1 and 2 we actually talked about how the project works. We talked about how we have a UI that streams tokens live and how the prediction slash conviction market works. And in week 2 we actually went through how the platform runs under the hood, from the bookmakers to stewards and the remote CLI. And so for the week 3, we're going to show our thought processes behind Livestreak, and also what we're considering and what is actually on stake. So this document is basically like a compressed summary of what we've been discussing within ourselves. Alright, so the first thing is that we're talking about the positioning, right? So on Livestreak, right, one of the hallmarks of what we do is we actually weigh your conviction through how much tokens you stream. So that is how much you streamed in, right? How long did you stay in a position, and how long you stay in a position it's not actually necessarily by just holding, but it's also by continuous streaming, right? And that shows your conviction, right? And that's why we trying to look at it like, okay, so this is a conviction market and stuff. And then the next thing is, we've actually discussed this, which is that Livestreak is not just about football, right? It's a vertical for in real life moments, right? Anything that is live can be on Livestreak. And one of the wonderful things is anyone can be a house, right? Depending on how you I believe we have some filters and stuff like that, but anyone can actually be a house. It's quite open. So the mechanism of how we work is we have a linear price curve, right? And that price curve is determined by the natural log, right? And so we evaluate how the token stream in, and we weigh that to the amount of shares you're going to get. And what that allows and prevents is it allows early conviction, right? So you buy cheap shares, you come in. So if you came in late, right, where maybe you're trying to snipe, right, we prevent that, because it's going to be obviously be expensive to buy shares when it's obviously triggered a while. So the next thing is about how we intend to prevent being sued, and ensure that we're within copyright laws. So one of the things we've set in place, especially right now, is we've set a CV pipeline that allows football videos to be converted into we just convert it into synthetic video, right? So we have synthetic frames, and those synthetic frames get replayed, and we believe that is actually a very strong strategy, right, for almost anything. And so this is one of the very important things where you start seeing that Livestreak is just not about just on-chain stuff. It also deals with models, right? We have to improve on the models, the speed, right, and also the general working zone, right? So can we make it work for NBA? Can we make it work for baseball? And maybe even live cook-offs, who knows? So the idea is, if we can do that, we can actually sidestep a lot of issues, because the posture, or the legal posture right now, is that as far as you do not store, you do not store, transmit the live source, you are clear of copyright. So that's exactly what we are going for. And the next thing about how it works is we have the broadcast feed. So this is actually embedded into the SDK, right, and the CLI. So how it works is that the broadcast fits into the observer, that is the observe package, and then the package within the package we have the render, that has the synthetic frames, right? And it produces things that are not copyrighted, rights free, and then we can push that into the market and then resolve it. So what's our plan, right, concerning how we're going to be position ourselves outside, right, in terms of how is Livestreak going to go into the market, so the GTM. So one of the ways we've thought about this is that right now Livestreak is in alpha, and we're going to it's kind of going to be alpha from the end of next month, right? We'll have it on testnet, and so we'll have it on testnet, and we're also going to apply for Colosseum, right, the hackathon, right? So once we have that, sorry, don't mind, this is supposed to be the hackathon, right? So once we have the hackathon down, hopefully we win, and if we win, we can actually use that to advance our white hat status and also go into beta mode. So during beta we intend to start points, and also this is wrong, it's supposed to start only during beta phase, right? So we're going to do beta during we're going to do points during the beta. All right, so one of the things that we currently have a lot of talk about is that we do not really know what will be the best live feed to actually show. So we're alternating between football and live news and politics. So we believe that using those two should be able to surface an alpha for us, where we know, okay, what is actually moving and what is not moving, and who knows, maybe you can the long tail events, right? We can cover that using our prediction / conviction market. So the major thing we just want at the end of the day, right, is just have a live project, right, where people can actually use. Right now we don't have any specific numbers, and we just want to ensure that everything is live. So concerning the economics on Livestreak, currently we've discussed a 3% haircut on wins alone, right? So this excludes losses, right? So any losing any losing conviction doesn't attract a 3% haircut. So this is just on the wins alone. And one of the things is this could reduce or increase, depends on governance in future, right? So for now we're starting with 3%. And coming back to the legal posture, right, one of the things we have actually researched on is how to deploy our product into markets legally. And so currently the Clarity Act hasn't passed, so we don't have any sustainable reference now to make. But one of the things that we can take, the actions we can take, is we are actually going to focus on points and not tokens. And so if you've read previous readmes and maybe even the previous videos, I mentioned us having LVST tokens where we mint the tokens to the losers and stuff like that. So for now what we're trying to do is we're actually going to move into points, right? And we're going to know what is going to happen right after the beta phase is done, and then we take proper stuff, right? So another thing again we're going to do is we intend to do geofencing, right? So that is because of we don't exactly know how Livestreak is going to be it's going to be accepted, right? So we just want things legally. So one of the things we're just going to do is we're going to do VPNs. Now this is on our front end. Obviously the protocol itself is actually neutral, right? So that is actually fine. So one of the directions we actually considered was that, and which we're actually going with, is that anyone can actually use Livestreak, right? So when we are geofencing, we're not necessarily geofencing the product itself, just the points, right? As far as you never got a point to play with and stuff like that, right? You can, see what is going on and stuff like that, but we know to just disable the points. Why? Because if eventually becomes legal, right, we don't want to start doing a new phase of introduction to people about what we've been doing since, and so anybody can just know what we are doing first of all. So like I said earlier on, right, the protocol is neutral, and the project itself, which we are hosting, is going to be gated, right? So we have the geofence and stuff like that. I also thought about KYC, which I know is a contentious issue, but I believe it's quite important in this case, so that we can just be safe, right, and ensure that there's no issues. And this is mostly due to EU rules too and stuff like that. So that's just most of what we've been talking about. So what we have now is that we have this complex protocol, right? It's a bit complex, right, because of the math in the streaming program and contracts. So one of the things we intend to implement is getting professionals, right, who know the math that's actually involved in the streaming contract, and also get anyone that is quite fit for the role, right, and not just ensure that we have people that are live on a project. Alright, so this is just an internal document that we've actually been doing. So we're cleaning up the project where some part of the project were autonomously coded, right, and so we're going through most of it and cleaning up anything that doesn't make any sense, right, within the project, right, due to moving fast and stuff like that. So now that we've actually we've seen what the project actually looks like, we're now like, okay, yeah, this is possible and this is something we want to pursue. So we're doing the cleaning so that we have a safe project. Alright, so what's not settled is we've not really settled some few things like we talked about. We said the certain videos, right, the sources, right, the naming. We've actually started the naming. Initially we're doing flow stream and we thought it was going to be flowable. We had to do some research and found that flow stream was it's kind of a little bit contested, so we went to Livestreak, and the 3% wide scope and jurisdiction, right, that we intend to actually open up in, we're still looking at that. That will be more important after beta. So right now we have everything live, right? I mean, it's not directly yet on testnet, but basically the project, if you run it right locally, it's actually working and it's all good. So we intend that by the end of August we should have it live and we should be ready to demonstrate what we've built in the next Colosseum hackathon. So thank you so much for listening to this long talk on what we've been doing with Livestreak and where our North Star is, right? Yeah, cheers.